Hey, Tuesday, March 29th. Rich Van Tassel channel here giving you your weekly NBA report. Starting as we always do in the Eastern Conference, Cleveland Cavaliers now hold a 3-game lead over the number 2 Toronto Raptors. Can Cleveland get to 60 wins? They are currently at 52 and 21. It would require an 8 and 1 finish. Certainly possible, but the talk of them resting players has me thinking it is unlikely. Toronto was not able to get their 50th win, which would have been a franchise record last night. They lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Atlanta Hawks in third, 9-1 in the last 10 on a 4-game winning streak. They have a 1-game lead over the fourth place team, the Miami Heat, who are 43 and 30, 6 and 4 in their last 10. The Boston Celtics got pounded last night against the Clippers. They are 43 and 31. And the Charlotte Hornets were off last night. They are 42 and 31. Teams 3 through 6 are separated by 2 games. Those are almost certainly going to be the 4 teams in those spots. Let's see how they finish the rest of the way. The Celtics do play each one of those teams the rest of the way. I'm not sure how the rest of the schedule shakes up. We'll probably do a report about that on Friday or at some time. Then you have Indiana at 39 and 34. The Detroit Pistons at 39 and 35 in the 7th and 8th spots. The Detroit Pistons were in 8th, who are a half game back of the Pacers for 7th, hold a 2.5 game lead over the Washington Wizards, who are 36 and 37, as well as the Chicago Bulls. Everyone else, Orlando, Milwaukee, the Knicks, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Philadelphia 76ers. Teams 11 through 15 are all eliminated. Chicago and Washington are the only teams that have a chance to make the playoffs of the teams outside looking in. Chicago on a 4-game losing streak, though they are going the opposite direction. There was a players only meeting last week, and it doesn't look like the air was cleared. They lost last night to Atlanta 102-100. We saw Mike Dunleavy make some comments that it was do or die time for them, and it looks like they're dying. They are really struggling under first-year coach Fred Hoiberg. Moving into the Western Conference, the Golden State Warriors at 66 and 7, still striving for that best record in NBA history. They would need to go 7 and 2 the rest of the way to break the record, and certainly they can go better than that. They're 9 and 1 in their last 10. San Antonio Spurs 4.5 back. They were able to win last night. They are 8 and 2 in their last 10. However, there's been talks that they're going to rest their players the rest of the way. They're almost certainly going to be in that second spot anyway. 4.5 games is too difficult to make up, and Oklahoma City would have to win out, and the Spurs would have to lose every game for them to have the same best record. Now, speaking of Oklahoma City, they are 52 and 22 on an 8-game winning streak, 8 and 2 in the last 10. So they are starting to peak again, and doing so at the right time. Though you hope it's just not too early and they don't start to sputter come playoff time because they've peaked just a little too early. But I think they're getting ready, and I think this is going to be a very dangerous team in the playoffs. The Los Angeles Clippers, as we said, they crushed the Celtics last night. They are up to 46 and 27, 5.5 games back of Oklahoma City for the third spot, 5.5 games ahead of Memphis to remain in the fourth spot. So they're basically locked into that fourth spot. Going to have home court advantage in the first round, but likely are going to face Golden State in the second round should they be able to prevail. Blake Griffin began serving his 4-game suspension, so they're going to have him back, and they're going to have to reincorporate him into the system, into the offense. When he gets back, they got a few games to do so. Probably about 5 games, so hopefully that's enough time for him to get his legs back and get moving. The Memphis Grizzlies 3 and 7 in the last 10 on a 3-game losing streak, 41 and 33. They might actually slip out of that fifth spot. I thought they had it basically covered up, but they only have a 2.5-game lead. And boy, with all the injuries to this team, I just don't know how many more wins they're going to get the rest of the season. I think they'll get at least one, so they finish above 500 and not at 500. But even with Mike Conley coming back, you hope you can get him back in enough time for a few games, as we just discussed with Blake Griffin. But it's just not going to be the Grizzlies' year with all the injuries. Portland 39 and 36, 2-game winning streak, 5 and 5 in the last 10. They'll play Thursday against the Celtics. The Utah Jazz 37 and 37, all the way up to the 7th spot, 8 and 2 in their last 10. They are really starting to come along now. And the Houston Rockets at 36 and 38 are tied with the Dallas Mavericks at 36 and 38 for the last spot. We had discussed last Friday the race for the bottom of the Western Conference playoffs. So certainly anyone can check out those videos if they'd like. They're on here as well, and we would go into that more detail with that. I had Portland as the 6th seed, Utah and Houston as the 7th and 8th. Depend either or in that position, and then Dallas on the outside looking in. And that's where we stand right now. So we'll see how the final remaining games of the regular season play out. Denver Nuggets at 31 and 34 are still mathematically alive. They would have to win out basically, and even that I don't think would be enough because I think Utah and Houston will still get above 38 wins. Denver Nuggets, or excuse me, the Sacramento Kings 29 and 45. They are also still mathematically alive, but unlikely to make the playoffs. New Orleans Pelicans, Minnesota Timberwolves, Phoenix Suns, Los Angeles Lakers all eliminated. Minnesota up to 25 and 49. So let's see how well they can close out the season. Can they get to 30 wins? They would have to go 5 and 3 the rest of the way. I think that would be a good improvement for a team that only won 16 games last year. Same thing with the New York Knicks. We did not discuss in the Eastern Conference. They're 30 and 45. I'm sure a lot of Knicks fans are not happy, but this is still a team that could win 4 more games, go 4 and 3 the rest of the way in their final 7, would double up their win total from last year. So you got to take the progress where you can get it. Of course, Phoenix and the Lakers are terrible. Kobe Bryant says he plans to play in his final 9 games, but we'll see if his body allows him to do so. Now, the power rankings. Of course, Golden State Warriors still number 1. San Antonio Spurs number 2. Going to give Oklahoma City the number 3 spot with their 8-game winning streak, even though they're a half game behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavaliers have a 7-12 winning percentage. The Oklahoma City Thunder at 703, but the 8-game winning streak is vaulting the Oklahoma City Thunder to 3rd. Number 4, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and number 5, despite the fact that Toronto has a 5-game better record than this team, the Atlanta Hawks with their 4-game winning streak, 9 and 10, or 9 and 1 in their last 10, will put them in the number 5 spot. Atlanta is a team that's really starting to come along. They are also peaking at the right time, as we had discussed with the Oklahoma City Thunder, but it's one thing I tend to worry about. Is it maybe just too soon right before the playoffs, and then the playoffs start, you start playing better competition, and that good mojo, so to speak, starts to leave you. So that is it for your March 29th, 2016 weekly NBA report. Remember, all subscriptions are very much appreciated, and we will be back Friday with NBA in-depth, player focus, or 2 NBA in-depths and a player focus, and any flash news alerts the rest of the week. We will bring those to you. Thank you all so much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, Tuesday, March 29th. Rich Van Tassel channel here, giving you your weekly NBA report. Starting as we always do in the Eastern Conference, Cleveland Cavaliers now hold a 3-game lead over the number 2 Toronto Raptors. Can Cleveland get to 60 wins? They are currently at 52 and 21. It would require an 8 and 1 finish. Certainly possible, but the talk of them resting players has me thinking it is unlikely. Toronto was not able to get their 50th win, which would have been a franchise record last night. They lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Atlanta Hawks in 3rd, 9-1 in the last 10 on a 4-game winning streak. They have a 1-game lead over the 4th place team, the Miami Heat.